In this video, we're going to cover central tendency and skewness. So as a reminder, the mean is the arithmetic average of a collection of data, or the balancing point. The median is the data value that is in the center when all your values are put in order, and the mode is the data value that occurs most often. And these are all what we would call measures of central tendency. So measures of central tendency. Or they're all different measures that we could use to describe the center of a data distribution. Then the question arises is, when should you use each of these different measures of center? Like, when is one more appropriate than the other? So the mean is best used when your data is symmetric or basically symmetric with no outliers. So something pretty symmetric. That is when we would like to use the mean, be right in the center. The median is preferred if your data is skewed or has one or more outliers. So for instance, if I have some clear right skew going on, I would prefer to have the median. Or even if my data is pretty symmetric, if I have an outlier out here, that would also be a situation where I would want to use the median. The mode is mostly used when your data is categorical, so that neither the mean nor the median would make any sense. Okay, so we can't calculate a mean or a median when we have categories. So in those cases, we would prefer to use the mode. Okay, let's look at an example here to see why sometimes the mean versus the median would be preferred. So this says, suppose there is a small company with 6 employees and a CEO. The employees' yearly salaries are, and then those are listed there, and then the CEO's salary is $250,000. Find both the mean and the median salary and tell which is the more appropriate measure of center for this particular situation. So let's go ahead and find the mean to get started. To calculate a mean, we add all of the data values together. So we've got 32,000 plus 32,500 plus 36,000 and another 36,000, 38,250, 40,000. Sorry, we're adding these, and 250,000. Add all those up and divide by 7, because that is how many data values there are. Okay, so that gives us, for our numerator, I'm kind of calculating this on the side, that gives us 464,750. And when we want to divide that by 7, we're going to get 66,393. I'll round it off to a whole number. Okay, so that's the mean. To find the median, what we want to do is we want to they're already in order. I already listed them from smallest to largest, so let's just count off to the middle. And I'm going to just do that up here in the wording of the problem. So knock off the lowest and also the highest and work our way in to the middle. And our middle value we end up coming out with as being 36,000. So in this case, the question then becomes, which one of these values is more representative or would make more sense when we talk about the center of this data, or the one that represents this data better as a whole? So in this case, I would choose for sure the median. It's the better measure of center here. Because the CEO is an outlier. right? That CEO salary is very, very far above all of the different employees. So that value is an outlier, and that salary pulls the mean up so far that it doesn't represent the bulk of the data well anymore. So this is an example of probably the rest of that data is symmetric. The 6 employees is fairly symmetric data, but that one outlier pulled that mean so far up that now it doesn't even make a lot of sense. I mean, one person out of the 7 makes more than this. So this does not even make much sense to be calculated as the center. And a lot of times what we call the center is the typical value as well. So that's definitely not a typical salary for working at this small company.